Good morning. Move that out of the way. What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another stream. Hope everyone's having a good day. Good start to the week. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Morning. Morning, guys. Hope everyone had a good Labor Day weekend. Back to the grind. Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock. Got ourselves a little bit of a shorter week this week. Shorter trading week, but definitely some economic stuff to watch out for. Definitely a lot of technical levels to watch out for, so it should be interesting. We do have Jerome Powell speaking this week. So, Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday. Do we see any type of volatility before that, or do we see a pretty quiet week until we hear from Jerome Powell? That's definitely going to be one of the questions that I have coming into today. But definitely some very key levels to be watching here on the futures this morning. We're starting to see some rejections even early morning today. So definitely some stuff to watch. I labored this weekend. All right, hey, it happens. All right, so let's get started. Good morning, guys. Hope everyone is having a good morning. Thanks for being here again. Let's start the day. So today is the 6th of September, almost NFL season. Almost NFL. I almost am to the point where I can be in pain every Sunday from watching the Giants play. I have no hope as of right now. So maybe the Giants will give me some hope. Maybe we'll start 1-0 for the first time in a very long time. But as of right now, I have little to no hope for this NFL season. I think it's going to suck for me. So I'm going to have to keep my expectations pretty low. Hope everyone has a good... I hope My biggest hope for everyone is that you have a good football team that you like, because that makes things a lot more fun. But as of the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years, it's been just misery for me. Go Bills. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was a Bills fan. I wish I was a Bills fan. If I was a Bills fan, I'd have a lot of fun. All right, so today is the 6th of September, economic earnings calendar. We do have some stuff to be looking out for on the economic side of things. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Here it is. Cowboys. Yeah, I don't actually, you know what? I don't hate the Cowboys. You know who I hate? I hate the Eagles. I don't hate the Cowboys. I actually I don't know if I like the Cowboys, but I don't hate them. The Eagles gets on my nerves. The Bears. So you guys can see here, this was yesterday, Labor Day holiday, no schedule, no market because closed, but the futures were trading. If you guys were not aware, futures do trade even when the market is closed. Jacob coming out with the $20 donation early morning. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob Hope, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the donation. So today we have 9:45 U.S. Services PMI. We'll see if there's any type of movement off that. ISM Services Index. We'll see if there's anything off that. So 9:45, 10 a.m. Going to be watching that. September 7th tomorrow. Not much. We do have some Fed presidents speaking. So we have Loretta speaking. We have Brainerd speaking. We have Fed Vice Chair for Bank Supervision, Michael Barr speaks. So we have some Fed presidents speaking tomorrow. We'll see if there's anything off that. And then, obviously, Beige Book as well. Thursday is where you have Powell. So here's Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 9:10. 10 minutes after open. I don't know if that's a mistake or not. Gianni, I'm not sure. But that is what it says. 9:10, Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking. 9:10, 10 minutes. I'm sorry, not 10 minutes after open. 20 minutes before market open. Why am I thinking that the market opens at 9 o'clock? I've done this long enough to know that that is not true. 20 minutes before open, we have Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens there. And then Friday, not much, just more Fed president speaking there on Friday. Let me go back to that. You guys can see right here. So after this week, you do get a little bit more. You have CPI next week on Tuesday. That is interesting. That could definitely be market moving. CPI 8:30 Tuesday morning. That's going to be a very interesting event there to watch out for as well. So we have Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday, and then we have Tuesday of next week CPI. I think those are your biggest ones to be watching out for on the economic side of things. Okay. I don't think we have anything on the earnings side. I'm pretty sure we're just sort of wrapping up earnings season. Let me see if there's anything there. Here we go. Let me pull that up real quick. You have your good old friend GameStop reporting earnings, if anyone's interested in that. But besides that, not much. GameStop, Neo, American Eagle, nothing really there on the earnings side. DocuSign, Restoration Hardware. So nothing major on the earnings side, guys. Mostly just watching out for that economic news and the technicals. So let's go ahead and do that. Tesla, watching Tesla. I think Tesla's sort of been dead lately, guys. I don't know about you, but Tesla has just not been. It's just not been it. Tesla's just not been the same since that split. It's been a really not that fun to trade. It's not been that that clean. The daily chart, the week, the 4 hour, the hourly just looks really choppy. Very hard to sort of pick the next move. So it's been very different since that split, which sort of is unfortunate. Apple, we're at a major level on Apple. Nvidia and AMD just look dead to me. These two stocks just are getting really beat down from the macro side of things. And Nvidia and AMD just continue to be the weakest tech names out there. Chip stocks under a lot of pressure. Meta, we've sort of watched that Meta. Meta channel low, but there is a huge rejection point that it just can't get over. I want to show you guys that. Let's go ahead and look at the oil sector today. Let's look at Costco. Snow and PANW, these are two gap fills that we've talked about here that are working out. So congratulations to you guys that caught that. And then finally, I want to talk about the XLV. After that, we'll take some of your guys' recommendations and we will get out of here. So let me quickly just go ahead and clean up that that live stream form for you guys. So let's go ahead and pull that up. So today is not the 29th. Here's the live stream form, 0906, and I'm just going to clean this up. So if you guys are a member of the live stream, if you are a member of the YouTube channel, that you guys can go ahead and put your tickers in here for today. Delete that. So I just went ahead and updated it for you guys. So if you want to go ahead and start putting your tickers in there for later in the stream, feel free to do so. All right, let's get started. NASDAQ. So, yeah, what a crazy day on Friday, huh? I mean, that was wild. I mean, I can't say that it wasn't expected to see a rejection off this level. So it was very clean. The rejection was pretty much spot on. But the way that it dropped was pretty aggressive. And I think it was not just a technical rejection. I think part of that whole oil spill that went on in Gibraltar, I think it was, that definitely sort of heated up this downside move. So you guys can see on Friday, I'm going to delete this little area here, and we can just look at that rejection. This is the 15-minute chart, and this is on Friday. So you guys can see we rejected this level on Wednesday, coming into this, earlier that week. So Wednesday, we had a little double top around this 12.5 level, 12.450. Thursday, we're sort of weak. We pushed higher. We consolidated into Friday. We pushed higher on Friday from those jobs numbers, right? We got that pre-market push off the job numbers into market open, and just look at this nasty, nasty rejection right at those Wednesday's highs, and look at the rejection we had right there at that same level. So that was great. I mean, that was textbook supply rejection there on the NASDAQ, and you'll see it on the ES as well. It was really clean as well. So unfortunately, I did stop out of my Apple and Shopify swings. I took a loss on those too. I did make back some of those gains on some SPX puts. I sort of just played the SPX puts off this supply rejection. You guys will see that once I pull up the ES. Man, oh man, did I spend about 6 hours of Friday night thinking about what could have been, which is just a tough thing to be doing. It's not what I should be doing, but I'm human as well, guys. So, it's hard to keep that out of your head. I had some like SPX 3940 puts at like $1.50, and those went up to 60. They went up to 60 close. They went up almost 5,000%. So that definitely affected me a little bit. I only caught about $1,000 gain off those, so it was still a nice trade. But man, that downside off that 12,450 rejection was very clean on Friday. If we zoom out to the 4-hour chart, I still want to show you guys that we are still maintaining some of these lows from June and July, which makes this a little bit interesting today. So you are still maintaining this previous low around 12,100, 12,000. This is a previous low from back in July that we bounced off of. You guys can see all in this general area, everywhere between this previous low, right? We have this previous bounce here. We have some previous rejections here, previous rejections back here. We are still maintaining that level. So do we hold here? That's going to be the question. I mean, we came back into it. We bounced. We had that nasty rejection on Friday. And even with that nasty rejection on Friday, we held that level pretty nicely. So we're still sort of maintaining this little double bottom around this 12,100, 12,000 level. Now, if we lose that, then you guys know that this is going to continue, right? If we lose this double bottom that we formed last week, then it's pretty obvious. Let me go to the hourly chart. Here's the hourly, guys. So you can see this little double bottom that formed here from Thursday into Friday. We got a lot of volatility. We did push up. We pushed up higher. We rejected, quick back to the downside, and tested that exact same level from Thursday's lows. So, I don't want to get so aggressive to short into this level, right? I don't want to be, biased to try to short into that level, because if I do, then do I have, is there a chance that I get bounced on again? Yeah, there probably is. So I think the easy, clean trade today, if you do see downside, is one of these, right? If you see something like this, then you know what this is going to do, right? If you see a break of this double bottom from last week, if you see that double bottom turn into a rejection point, then that's pretty nice. That's your technical setup. That's your trade setup. That's a trade all day, right? That's a downside trade all day. If I see this double bottom turn into a rejection, then that's your trade for the downside. I really like that. To the upside, you can see that there is a hold here, guys, but what I'll say is that you're just not seeing the buying willing to come in. You're not seeing the opportunity for an upside move to hold up. You're seeing the demand, right? We can see the double bottom. We can see that previous low turning into support again, but you are just not seeing a withstanding move. You're not seeing buyers come in, and you're not seeing buyers stay in. They're being, it's very panicky down here, right? You get an upside move and it just dumps. Now the bulls are not going to be very trustworthy of any upside, right? So that's what I'll say, right? You can see the demand, but do you really buy this? Do you trust that this is going to withstand a move? That's the hard part, right? Do you think this is going to withstand an upside move? That's the hard part for me right now. So the demand is there, right? Do you buy it off demand? I think it's a little early. I took my shot on Thursday last week with some small size and got stopped out. So I'm going to be very patient here. You can see there's still a little bit of this downtrend that could potentially be, over the last week. Let me go ahead and zoom in here. So you can see we still have this downtrend that's overall still there over the last week. So this is what I'm going to be watching, guys. Here's the short-term levels that I will be watching today to try to get an idea of if there is any type of momentum to the upside on this market. The first level that you have to be watching here on the hourly chart is the lows of this consolidation from, let me go to the 30-minute. I think you'll see it a little bit better. Here's the 30-minute. Let's zoom into last week's price action. So the lows of this Thursday, Friday consolidation and the lows of this candle here, right here, guys, is around 12,250. And what you can see is it's very much being respected. You have a previous low here. You have a previous consolidation bounce right here. And look at what it's doing this morning. It is turning it into a perfect rejection point. So 12,250 is the absolute first level that needs to be watched today. If you can get a rejection play off 12,250, that could be awesome, right? Right there, something like that. You can already see this morning that we have tried to break that 12,250 3 times on the NASDAQ, and we have not been able to get over. So you can see previous low, previous low, previous low, previous low. We broke right through it. We buttered right through it on Friday, and you can see we're trying to push back into it today. If this area turns into rejection today, you are going to see weakness stay in this market, okay? If this area stays rejection, if 12,250 cannot break, you will see continuation and you will see weakness. Now, you might just trade in this channel, right? That is totally possible, which is not going to be very fun if you are a directionally biased trader. If you sell theta, if you do spreads, do condors, then you might love that. But if you're directionally biased, you really don't want to see us sort of trade within this channel. It's going to be a little difficult, but maybe you can look for a rejection of this 12,250 today. Okay? That's sort of the bearish setup. If you reject 12,250, if you can't get above it, I would look for continuation to the downside. Now, the only way I can even consider any type of upside today is a break, in my opinion, over this channel right here. It's more of this channel, in my opinion, 12,250 to 12,300. I need to see us get clear of this top side of this channel, and I need to see if I can maybe play it back into Friday's highs. That would be, in my opinion, probably the only bullish setup here. So if you can break this Thursday, Friday consolidation high, you can see right here it's around 12,315, 12,300. That's all in this range. You can see this range that was built all right here. If you can break that with some serious strength, if you can turn that into support intraday, then maybe there is some opportunity to trade back into Friday's highs. This would be the only area where I'd feel confident for any upside. Would I want to trade upside into this potential chop range potential rejection area? Probably not, guys. I don't think the odds are really on your side if you are trading upside into this potential rejection point. So this is interesting, right? There's nothing quite, solid here. I think the most solid setup that I could see here this morning is the 250 rejection. That's the most solid setup that I could see. The 250 rejection is the most solid setup that I see here early morning. I can go ahead and pull up the daily SMAs to really quickly see where those are sitting. The daily SMAs are sort of higher above. I don't really see those acting as anything. That's the 50 and 100 all the way up here around 12,550. So nothing really up there. Nothing really acting as resistance on the SMAs, in my opinion here. You're up around 12,550 on the daily SMAs. So that's that, guys. I mean, you can see here would be, again, here's what I'd be watching. I would be looking for the 12,250 rejection. That would be the most important thing to watch out for, in my opinion. If you get that 12,250 rejection, I'd look for the continuation to the downside. All right. That would be, either this, or you can look for, another bounce off the demand low. That's really, besides those two setups, guys, trading in this channel is going to be a little bit questionable. All right, ES. Let me delete these SMAs. Let's just quickly go over the price action. So here's the 4-hour chart, guys. 4-hour chart on the ES. Let me delete this. We'll redo that, and we'll redo this. Here you go, guys. So to the downside, you guys can still clearly see that there is a potential rejection here there is still a potential support being built. I know, as I said previously on the NASDAQ, there's no buying going on, right? There's no strong upside off this demand. So that's something you need to understand. Just because there's demand below doesn't mean you actually move higher off of it. It means that you could try to slow the bleeding. And that's what we've seen, right? We've seen the bleeding slow. This was a pretty aggressive downside move, and over the last 2-3 days, you sort of stayed sideways. So you can see you have a previous rejection, a previous rejection, a previous rejection that turned into a support, and you can see we are right there again, right? This is sort of the video that I made on Thursday, sort of pointing out this potential demand hold. Now, we saw the crazy volatility on Thursday, Friday, right? If we zoom into the hourly chart, we know that we are holding that demand below, but there was some pretty intense volatility, right? So we held it on Thursday pretty nicely. We got our push to the upside on Friday. You got that insane move to the downside intraday Friday, but where did it hold, right? It stopped right at that level once again, that exact same level from the 4-hour chart. So it's interesting, right? This demand level is definitely trying to maintain this market higher, but do you have opportunity to the upside here? That's the only question. There's just, the buying just doesn't seem to be coming in strong enough to actually get a move to the upside off this demand. You guys can see this was a textbook rejection on the ES. Look at that, off 40.20, just gorgeous. You can see previous lows into a rejection, and look at where Friday we sold off from. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you're going to see how clean this was. Just look at that. 5-minute chart, right into that 40.20, and just a clean rejection. Congratulations, anyone that caught this move. This was big time on either SPY puts, SPX puts, anything. That was big. So back to the hourly chart. We can clearly see the support down below, right? We can clearly see it down there. We can see that double bottom, that 3,900, 3,920, all in that general area. You can see that it's held up. Do we actually get a withstandable upside move on this market off this demand? I am just not ready to say that yet. I just don't see it. So what do I need to look for today on the short-term analysis? What are our short-term levels? Let's go ahead and do those real quick. You can see it's the exact same thing on the ES. Where are we starting to reject? We're starting to reject that Thursday, Friday consolidation range. So right here, guys, you can see this range between 39.60 and 39.75. You have these previous lows, boom, boom, and boom. Previous lows where we bounced off of Thursday into Friday. And look at where we're rejecting this morning. Push, reject, push, reject, push, reject. Previous support from Thursday into Friday, turning into a rejection here pre-market today. So how do you go long in this situation? What's the long play? You need to get over this 39.75. All right, you can't be messing around trying to go long into this supply. You got to get over this 39.75. You need to clear this previous consolidation, and you need to look for a little retest pullback here around this 39.75. Without that, you're pretty much just guessing that it's going to get through this supply, and that is a tough trade. So I need to see that push to the upside above 39.75. For the downside play, it's a lot cleaner. You just look for a rejection here at 39.60, and you look to play this back to the downside. It's already starting to show you that this morning. You can see rejections, rejection, rejection. Maybe you look for one more push to the upside and another fail, and then maybe you can play that to the downside once again. So that's NASDAQ. That's ES. Some really clean levels, guys. If you want to get these short-term levels in a text format for completely free, nothing, no money, you just press the join button and you get it. That's the Discord down below. It says free technicals. I post these levels in a text format every single day in that Discord. Okay? That's that. Let's go to the Dow. The Dow is slightly outperforming this morning. It's just sort of holding up a little bit better than the rest because tech is really where the weakness is. So let me go ahead and show you guys the Dow real quick. Dow's pretty much the same. You guys can see it here. Previous support actually into a rejection, and you can see support once again. Pretty much the same story here. If I go to the 30-minute chart, we're looking at the exact same thing again. Thursday, Friday consolidation, right? Turning into a rejection point. So the analysis is the exact same, guys. Between the ES, the NASDAQ, and the Dow right now, all the exact same exact levels, just different numbers. So 31,600, previous lows, into rejection this morning. Very, very clean. Russell. Yeah, just looking at the Russell, you guys can see right here, 1840, that's the level to watch, all in this general area. You guys can see previous rejections into rejections again. If you turn that into a rejection again here on the Russell around this 1840, then I would look for the continuation to the downside. All right, guys, so that's the futures. Pretty clean. I mean, the technicals look pretty clean for that downside, for that rejection point. But here's your only concern, right? Here's what has to be in your head this morning. If I play to the downside, how much margin do I have on my downside play before a potential bounce, right? And if I play to the upside, which I wouldn't here anyway, how much margin do I have until a potential rejection? So if I was trading today, I would be looking for, the extremes. I would look for either to short off 12,250 or maybe to long off 12,000. I would not be looking to mess around within this channel today, guys. It could be pretty nasty. So that's that. Hope that makes sense, guys. That's the futures. Let's go ahead and jump into Tesla. So here's Tesla, guys. And the big level here on Tesla is 280. 280 is basically what you have to be watching today. You guys can see 280 was a previous support. Excuse me. That turned into a double top rejection. So 280, previous support into a double top rejection. Go to the 5-minute chart. Let's get a little bit more time here. 30-day 5-minute. Look at this 280 level. So you can clearly see that 280 is our new brick wall, right? You have 280 here. You have 280 here. You have it turn into a monster rejection here. You have it turn into a rejection here. And you have it turn into another rejection right here. So 280, if Tesla is not over 280, it's going to be very difficult to get any type of withstandable upside move. It has to get over the 280 level. This morning, you guys can see we got some upside, some gap up in the pre-market. Didn't really get anywhere and just is starting to reject. It's at these previous lows around this 274. You guys can see right here. Previous lows now turning into a rejection point. So that is bearish in my opinion as well. And even over the last week, guys, of trading between Tuesday and Friday of last week, Tesla was just a disaster. I mean, it was up, it was down, it was up, it was down. Just trading within this channel. If I look at Tesla, if you stay below this 274 today, right? Let me zoom in on this. If you stay below this 274 today, here's your level to watch. If you stay below this previous low, you can see it turning into a rejection right here, previous low into a rejection. If you see it reject there at 274, if it fills this downside gap or this upside gap here and breaks yesterday's or Friday's lows around 269, I would still be looking overall for the pullback to these previous rejection points. I still believe that Tesla probably needs to come back down to this previous, these previous upside rejections. So rejection, rejection, support. I still believe that Tesla should be trading back at 260. So I'll be looking for that. If I see more weakness on the market, I'll definitely look for Tesla to trade back into 260. 280 is the upside rejection point. Just be careful in that general area, right? All right, guys, that's Tesla. Let's go Apple. Excuse me. So, Apple. Apple, I took a long position off 155. So you guys saw that. I took a long position on Thursday off of 155 and actually was very nicely green on Friday morning and actually only got out of it for like a, what is it, like a 10% loss. So very small loss on Apple, even though it pulled back aggressively, because I got in at a really good time on Thursday. So that sort of protected me. But I did get in Thursday off of that 155. You guys can see the previous rejection here, previous support here. I played it off that 155. You did get a nice push into Thursday close and into Friday. But look at where this rejected. Just a really, really clean rejection point. So previous support into a rejection, into a rejection. So 160 is your new major rejection point on Apple to be watching out for. And the demand is down below around 155. So 155 to 160, you got yourself about a 5-point range here on Apple between this support, rejection, and then support, 5-point range on Apple. You can see this morning, it again is trying to hold this 155 level. So this is obviously going to depend on the overall market, of course. If you get upside in the overall market, I think you could try to play Apple off this 155. I think that's still a potential play for a short-term trade, maybe up to this 160. Or if you want to have even more confirmation, if the market sees upside, you want to see a nice little break and a nice little retest of 160. You go long off the 160 hold, turn previous double top rejection into support. That would be a fantastic long entry on Apple if we can get over 160. If we break this level, right, if the market's weak and you break this low on Apple and you turn it into a rejection, then you know where this market's going, right? So I would just be looking for the channels on Apple, be looking for either a rejection of 160 to play back to the downside, a demand hold of this 155, but I would not, this is the key, guys, right? If you do trade Apple off 155, you do not get greedy, hoping and praying for the 160 break. You got to take some profits off at 160 because this could easily just do this, right? So 160 to 155 on Apple, that's your channel to play off of. Look out for those holds and possible rejections off those levels. NVIDIA, AMD, man, these things just have no juice. They are just getting just crapped on, really. I mean, it's very, very, very weak. And you can see the extreme weakness that came in over the last few weeks. You broke 2022 lows. You can see right here, that's your previous low around that 141. And look at what it's doing already this morning, right? So you can see the previous lows of 141. This is the 2022 lows of the year at 141. Right there, 140.80, 141. That's the 2022 previous 2022 lows right there. And what you can see is if I go to the 30-minute chart, look at where it rejected on Friday. I mean, it rejected perfectly at the 2022 previous lows. So right there around 141, you got your flush on Thursday under 2022 lows. You got your push back into it Thursday into Friday. And look at the little triple top that came in here on the 30-minute chart on 141 on NVIDIA. No life here. Still no life here in the pre-market. If NVIDIA continues to trade under 141, I would expect there to be continued weakness. I don't see how it catches any type of momentum unless it's over 141. So that is a must break in my opinion. If I go to the 5-minute chart, I would be watching Friday's lows, which is right around this 136.40 area. You can even drag it down to right here around this 136 flat. If you break 136 flat, right, if you break Friday's lows, then I would look for the trade back towards Thursday's lows, right? If you break Friday's lows, if you continue to break down these levels, if you make new lows here day over day, then I would be aiming for the lows of Thursday because there is still just no strength here on NVIDIA, right? You can see we tried to get a little bit something here, just quickly getting sold off pre-market. That 141 rejection is just rock solid. I don't expect it to get through that unless something drastically changes here. If it does, maybe you look for the rejection of 140 again. If you see upside, right? I would still look to sell off 141. I would not try to trade it through this level. If you see a big push on NVIDIA, I would look for more than anything a rejection play off 141. You know the stock is weak. If you get a flush under Friday's lows, I would look for something like this, and I would maybe look to trade it back to that low of Thursday, 132. All right? Still, though probably the weakest tech stock on the market right now, NVIDIA. Here's AMD. 4-hour chart on AMD. You guys can see right here, we had a previous support come in, a previous resistance come in around this 79 level. So previous support into a rejection around 79. And if I go to the 15-minute chart, you can see that is where we held on Thursday of last week. So right here around this 79, we held that level pretty strong. We bounced down into it or flushed right into it, held it pretty strong. On Friday, we came down into it again and sort of held that 80 level. So I would be looking for the potential break of, again, same thing, of Friday's lows. If we break Friday's lows, I would be looking to trade that into Thursday's lows. So if we get this, if we see a rejection around this 80, I would look to trade it into the Thursday's lows. If we hold this Friday's lows level, right, you can see right here around this 80, then I would just be careful and maybe you trade it into the channel high. But again, guys, these stocks are very weak. They're the weakest sector, so I'd be careful. You know, I would be careful marrying any upside on these trades because the overall strength, the overall direction is definitely still weak. So if you do get any type of demand bounce here, I would watch for the rejection around this 83. So 83 up here, rejection point, 80 potential support. If you break this 80, look for Thursday's lows. All right. Meta. So Meta, we've been talking about this channel low on Meta, and it's been nice. I mean, it's been holding up. But here is sort of reiterates my point of, yes, demand holds are there, but are we actually seeing strong pushes to the upside that actually sort of hold up? We're not seeing that. So you can see, yes, we've traded down into the Meta demand channel. We've traded back into these previous lows, support, 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 support. We are back in it once again. You can see we bounced off of it. But every time that Meta has tried to push to the upside off this channel, look at what it's been met by right here on the upside. Every single time that you have tried to trade Meta off this channel low, it has rejected, it has rejected, it has rejected pretty aggressively the exact same level, around this 167 level. So this is sort of resemblant of what I'm sort of seeing on the entire market, right? You're seeing these demand holds come in. First, you know, we're seeing the bleeding start to slow down to some extent, but we're just not able to get legitimate upside moves. So that selling it, that same, you know, that theory of sell the pops, short the upside, you know, sell any kind of rip we see, sell into it. That's sort of what we're continuing to see here. It's not getting under these demand lows, but the upside is just getting sold into every single pop. You can see that on Meta here. Every single time it gets to 167.30, it's been brutally sold off. So that's what I would watch here on Meta, guys. I would watch the 167 area for more rejections. I would look to see if the 160, 157 area holds. But right now, it's just stuck in this channel. The only way I'd go long on Meta is if I see this turn into a support. Right? If this previous rejection now turns into a support, then things have changed. Then I would look for the continuation. Cheers. All right. So that's Meta. Let's go XLE. XLE. So there was a little bit of news this morning or over the weekend, I think, of production cuts. I believe that is correct. Please forgive me, guys. I'm a little bit more on the technical side on the XLE. Please be aware of any type of macroeconomic events if you do trade this. But I'm pretty sure I saw production cuts this weekend come out. I think you saw a little bit of upside on the /CL, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go to that real quick. I think that was over the weekend. I think that was right here. Yeah, this was right in this. I think this was Monday. We saw that news of production cuts. But it seems like that has switched here. And the weakness on the /CL is definitely coming in. If we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see, guys, the /CL has just not been able to. The oil futures has just not been able to get above this 95 level. This 95 level has been a monster of a level for the CL. You can see the previous support, previous support, previous support, and it has turned into a really, really nasty rejection point. So the CL, the oil futures, that technical level has been extremely difficult, right? It just cannot get above that level. So watch out for that, 95. Guys, if you have questions about subscriptions, just email me. Go to my website, go to the bottom of the website, and contact me there. I can't answer these questions in the chat. So support, rejection, 95. Watch out for that on the oil futures. You can see the weakness coming in this morning. And then if you look at the XLE, look at that rejection that came in around that 84, a little double top that came in here around 84 on the XLE. So double top or top here at 84, a double top at 84. If you break this previous demand hold around this 78, that would be where I'd look for that continuation to the downside. So if I go to the 30-minute chart, let me show you guys here. If you see, here we go, 15-minute. I'm sorry, 15-minute. You guys can see we have this previous level around this 79. You have a previous rejection into support, into support again. I would say if you break this low, that's where you start to get to the downside. I think that's where you can start to attack XLE to the downside if you start to break that low. I would be careful of this area holding as support again around this 79, 78, 79. So watch out for that if there's any type of bounce off that level. But a very clean double top rejection here on XLE. You can see a top here. You can see another top here in the pre-market. If you continue to see that weakness on the oil futures, I would look for continuation to the downside, but I would first want to see a break and a retest of this 79 level. I would want to see this previous rejection, previous support, turn into a rejection once again, right, around this 79 level. All right, so watch out for that. There's definitely some movement on the oil futures this morning to the downside. Keep an eye on how the energy sector trades. It looks like the CL is trying to hold that technical level around 86. So I'd look for that break. I know, once again, that technicals are only one part of the picture here on the oil, on the energy sector. There's a lot of news that affects this type of move, so just be careful of that. But on the technical side of things, look for that 86 break on the CL. That looks like a very important level here. All right, Costco. So Costco, I'm keeping an eye on because I want to start to monitor the retail sector. I've been sort of keeping an eye on it. I've been keeping an eye on all the different sectors a little bit more lately. XLE, XLP, XLV, the consumer staples, the healthcare sector, the energy sector. And you can see here on Costco, excuse me, we're trying to hold this 515 level. So you can see right here, previous support, and into support again around this 515. Now it's very clear that the rejections have come in on the upside as well. So you can see previous rejection, previous support, double top rejection right here. So very clean. If I go to the 30-minute chart and I get a little bit more time, here's the 30-day. Look at this previous. This is just textbook price action here on Costco. Look at the previous support that has turned into a double top rejection. So right here, rejection and rejection. And why did it reject there? Because this was a previous little triple bottom support from back in, this is back in early August. So triple bottom support into a double top rejection. That's very clean. Now, what I would be a little bit cautious of, if I get a little bit more time here, I would just be cautious of trading this downside into this previous hold area around this 515, 510 area. You can see right here, previous hold. So I would be looking for one of two things, either to try to long this off 515, 510, maybe back into the 535, or if we do get upside on Costco, I would be looking for another rejection right here around this 535. That could be a nice little channel trade here on Costco. As of right now, it does seem like it is in this channel. So I'd look for one of two things, either that push into 535, or you can look for the rejection once it gets there. If it breaks below this 508 level, you guys can see right here, this previous low right from back in late July. If you break this low, I would look for the break, the retest, and maybe the continuation to the downside. So nice channel on Costco. Pretty well defined. I would look for either the push off demand, I would look for the rejection off 535 again, or if we start to flush on the market, I would look for the continuation into these lows around 508, and if we break that, even more continuation to the downside as well. So nice little channel here. You can see we had the previous channel here. We stair-stepped to the downside. You can see we made another channel, right? You're stair-stepping to the downside. Here's one channel, here's the next. So you're just creating lower channels. You're stair-stepping to the downside. So watch out for that on Costco. All right, let's quickly go over the two gap fills that we've been talking about on PANW and SNO. So here's SNO. You guys can see right here. Congratulations, guys. I know a lot of you guys traded this. We talked about this gap on SNO for quite a while, and it really worked out nicely. So you can see SNO, we pushed into the 200. We rejected that psychological level. And this is just, I just wanted to show this because this is just, this is what a gap fill looks like. So it's pretty much over. I'd be careful trying to chase this, for the extra, 10 points. You might get it, or you might get faked out. If you sort of held through this move, congrats. This was a very nice gap fill. I would say the gap fills around this 162. But as you get closer, you just got to be careful. You're sort of picking up the scraps here. So gap fill, very nice, guys. SNO, this is what it looks like. Just wanted to share that with you guys. You can see the gap up off earnings, and you can see it's pretty much filled it all the way back down. Same thing on PANW. We were talking about this one. Gap fill on earnings. You push up to the upside. You reject that 570 level that we talked about, and you start to slide off of it. I would look for a pullback to 530. That would be my first target for the gap fill. If you break 530, then you would probably come back down to the 515. However, I think that this 530 is going to be a tough level to get through to the downside, so please be careful right here. 530, if you get under 530, I'd look for 515. But just wanted to share this with you guys. Another great example of a gap fill. I remember we were looking at the low of this candle, which was 552. And you guys can see if we put a line at 552, just look at how perfect this is, guys. I sort of missed this one, which hurts a little bit. But look at this 552. Look at how it turned from previous support into a perfect double top rejection. Look at that. Right on Thursday or on Friday, look at that push into 552. Boom. Perfect rejection off 552. Why did it reject 552? Well, if we go to the daily chart, the low of this candle, the low of this candle right here, the candle after the gap, the low of this candle right here. If you look up at the top left of the screen, there's an L. The L means the low of that candle. The low of that candle is 552 on the dot, right? You put a line there at 552. You look at the 5-minute chart. Look at where PANW rejected on Friday. Right into 552. Perfect rejection. So as long as PANW is under 552, I would continue to look for downside into that 530 and then that 515. All right. I got XLV going now. XLV is up this morning, so there is still a potential hold at this demand, and this is something I am definitely continuing to watch here. You can see the XLV is sitting at a crucial demand level over almost the last year, guys. We're going on a year now. This is October, and this is August, so one more month, and we are a year of price action at this demand. We've touched it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. 7 times, and now this is 8 over the last year. Does this hold around this 125, 126? That is going to be very, very crucial here. You can see it is trying. It is trying its best to maintain this area on the XLV. And if it does, I would be watching for some of these bounces on some of these healthcare names. So first one is AbbVie. This is one that I'm definitely watching. AbbVie off this 135, 136. I would be watching UNH, which is arguably the strongest stock in the market. I would look for a bounce there, maybe off this 516, 520. I would look for, if we go to analyze, I would look for stocks like J&J, PFE, Eli Lilly, Merck, right? I would look for these to bounce if you get those pushes to the upside off the XLV. So J&J has been pulling back itself. But if you get that XLV hold at demand, right here on the daily chart, if you get that XLV hold at demand at 125, I would be looking to see if there is upside off this level. And if there is, what stocks on the healthcare sector start to move with it. So I've just been monitoring this XLV hold. I think you should as well. I think this is opportunity here. Let's see if it holds this 125 area. All right. Let's go ahead and pull up the tickers that you guys want to look at today. I will put in SHOP in there. I saw some of you guys talk about SHOP, so I will throw SHOP in there. So we're going to look at Boeing. I don't know what COUP is, or VAL, or Nova. These sound like penny stocks, which we'll quickly go past if they are. And then we got Shopify. If you guys want to, you should have access to this. Go to the community tab on my channel. If you are a member, you will have access to this forum. And just put in the tickers that you want to look at, okay? So, Boeing. Yeah, Boeing has a nice break and retest of that 272 level. I actually pointed this out in the technicals this morning in the chat. So here's what you want to look at on Boeing. Right here, you can see previous double top rejection on Boeing, and look at what it did. So you got that double top, right? Let's point that level out. Double top is at 157, not 172. 157, double top, right? We know that. Now let's zoom in. Let's look at what happened here at 157. You guys can see if I go to the 30-minute chart, look at what happened at 157 on Friday. You can see we pushed right into it, and we rejected it perfectly. So, yes, if you see downside in the market, if Boeing is under 157, I would look for the break and retest to the downside. Absolutely. And look for that break of Thursday's lows around 150. I like that setup. Valaris, I have no idea what this is. It's pushing to the upside. This almost looks like an energy stock. Is this an energy stock? Yeah, it looks like an energy stock just by looking at the chart. So I would say watch out for this 54 area. You can see this pretty clean rejection right here. 53, 54. That looks like a potential rejection point. And then I would be watching the overall XLV. You have a rejection on Friday at that level. I mean, this has little to no volume, guys. So I would not recommend intraday trading this. I mean, yeah. If this is your maybe a long-term investment, maybe you like it. But yeah, drilling. I mean, I would just hope no one's intraday trading this because the intraday price action is just atrocious. But yeah, on the 4-hour chart, I would look for 150 or 84. I'm sorry, 54 to turn into a rejection point. Right here. Watch out for 54. If you can break and retest 54, maybe you can get more upside. Nova. Sonova Energy. Another energy name. Daily chart. I would look for the gap fill more than anything. Watch for this gap fill. You can see it gapped up off earnings, 23. If you break that gap, you got to move back down towards around that 20. I would look for the gap fill. Shopify. Yeah, so Shopify, just right back in that channel. You're just going to have to stay patient here. I mean, Shopify is still just not doing anything. Every time it pushes to the upside, it gets weak again. It's right back in the $30 channel. And that's really all I could say, guys. If you break, if you break the 29 area, if you break the low, maybe you look for a continuation to the downside. But as of right now, you are just sitting at this channel. Support, 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 support. I would just sort of wait this out. If you want to trade to the downside, look for a flush of, the 29 level. I'm sorry, of the 30 level. Look for the flush under maybe Thursday's lows. Look for that to continue to the downside. Maybe a break and retest to the downside. Something like this, right? Break and retest to the downside. I would look for that. If you look, if you get that, look for that continuation. If you hold this $30 level again, I would just stay patient. I wouldn't trade it to the upside yet. It's just sort of weak. It hasn't been able to get to the upside. So I would just stay patient. Wait for the $30 level to really hold. Wait for the market to find a little bit of strength. But as of right now, you guys can see it's just a really, really strong downtrend. I would not be looking for upside here right now. I tried to take my shot on it on Thursday. Got stopped out, and now I'm just going to look past it because you can clearly see it just not wanting to get any juice to the upside. Target. Yeah, Target's pretty strong this morning. A little bit of upside. I was actually sort of monitoring this one. Here's what Target's trying to do. Target's trying to turn a previous rejection point into support, which I don't mind, actually. So you can see right here, this previous rejection point around 160 is actually holding up pretty nicely. So you can see right here, 160 rejection, support, and look at what it's doing. Look at the last week. Target held 160 like a champ. And on Thursday, it held up. And on Friday, it barely even pulled back. So I sort of like Target here. You can see pullback to 160, held it very nicely for about a week. Thursday, got a very nice push to the upside. And even with that market downside on Friday, it held up like a champ there. So I like Target here off this 160. I think that's a nice technical level to play off of. If we get a little bit more time, here's what I'd be watching. I would just be watching these previous highs as a potential rejection point around 168. If you can get over this 168, maybe there's some continuation here. But I would just be careful of a little double top. That's all I'd be careful of, right? You got to be aware of the potential double top and just another channel sort of trade. So watch out for 168. Watch out for that high. That would be what I'm watching. But I do like that 160 hold. All right. Last but not least, Qualcomm. Just another stock that is terribly weak with the chip sector, guys. I would just sort of trade this with the overall chip sector. If you continue to see weakness on AMD and NVIDIA, I would continue to look for weakness on Qualcomm. It's trying to hold this 127 previous low. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see right here. It's sort of like AMD. It looks pretty much identical. Actually, it pretty much is identical. So 127 is where it's trying to hold. Look at AMD, guys. It's almost identical. AMD is trying to hold this previous low right here. This is around that $80, $79 level. So Qualcomm, I would say, needs to hold this 127. This is where it held on Thursday. You guys can see right here, 127, 128. That's the previous lows from back in May right there. Another support bounce from June and another hold around this July area. So 150, 127, 128 must hold. If you break that, I'd look for continuation. But again, guys, Qualcomm, AMD, NVIDIA, I would be biased to the downside. As bad as that sounds, they just are so weak. So just be a little bit careful trying to buy the bounces on these things. It's just not there yet. Wait until it's there. You don't need to be the first person to buy the dip on Qualcomm, NVIDIA, AMD. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We went a little bit over time today. I hope it prepared you. If you guys could, I mean, we got 300 likes. It's just not okay. It's just not okay. If you guys come here on a daily basis, please press the like button. Please help the channel grow. Please subscribe if you are here. If you're watching, if you're sitting here the entire time and you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know, maybe you just don't like me. If you're just watching in the background, subscribe to the channel. Press the like button. Help support the channel. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for all the support on the channel. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. Remember, we got some economic news Thursday. We have some major economic news next week, so we need to be careful of that. Again, guys, it's the first trading day of the week. Let's take it slow. Let's sort of understand what the price action shows. Let's sort of just monitor how we sort of open here. Let's not get caught in any type of early morning traps. No reason to be pressing the buy button right at the bell. Let's not get caught in any of those early morning traps. Let's see where the overall strength is, overall weakness is, and just sort of get a feel for it, right? Get a feel for the market. Give it 10, 15 minutes. No reason to go crazy at open. Once we get a feel for where this market wants to go today, then we'll try to attack some opportunity. If you want to trade live with me every single day, it's down below in the Discord. It says trade live with me if you want to check that out. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.